Good morning to you. I'm Rowan DeFair from Feed from His Basket in London, Ontario, Canada. And how are you today? It is beautiful out. It is going to be very, very warm. Stay cool. And greetings across, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So all around the world. Take a few tips and I will share a video on how you can take care of your legs, your feet. I think about this when I'm at work. When I have some residents that say their feet are cold and they're purple and they're sore, then I reflected back on something my mom said to me. She says, my legs feel heavy and restless. That's right. She says, I don't know why my feet always feel heavy and restless in my legs. And I think, oh, she's so tiny. How could her legs feel so heavy? She was a very tiny woman. It's because it needed some love. Needs some love. Like we all do. We all need love. So if you just put in some ginger in some nice warm water and soak those beautiful feet. Allow yourself to have that freedom and just relax. You know, we need to take more time for ourselves than having to run out and always trying to please everyone. We need to take care of us. Once you learn that you have to take care of us, we don't have to spend so much time trying to be a people pleaser. That's right. No more you have to be a follower, but you can be a leader. That's right. So take ownership on this. I'd like to share a few words to you about accountability and ownership. Actually, you know, this is actually in Galatians chapter 6, verse 12. But looking over people's behaviors, I'd like to take a few minutes on this. And it's not too hard to figure out a direction someone's going when they act on something negative and they continue. But if they continue and continue and continue and continue, there's something seriously wrong. So this goes out to everyone, but it's really directed to people in that area in their life that they did the studies in behavior analysts and Federal Bureau of Investigations and in the CIA. And how you win people in your lives and how you retrain the brain and how people can be manipulated and harmed. But if a person, if their pain turns to anger, which happens, right? We have pain, we turn to anger. But this is consistent. So the pain that we have that turns to anger, because anger is very, very good. So anger can be very, very healthy. Okay, we can have anger in a healthy way or anger in a very bad way. So having anger is validate that anger. I am angry because, you know, something negative just happened. I am angry because of this or because of that. Validate, recognize your anger. That's right. I do. I think it's important. But it's how I deal with it and what I put out with it. If a person's pain turns to anger, and then the anger bends the truth, and it does not heal, and it is persistent, would that not be a type of psychosis? Now, let's directing this again to people that have did more studies in that area. But I mean, honestly, when I study from the truth, to me, it speaks as a person is in a state of psychosis. If they're persistent and continuing on, so they have not allowed themselves to validate that they're angry and they continue to live in that anger. But where the healing is not allowed to mend, you know, in your body, or in your mind, or in your heart, or in your feelings, and your actions, and become your future in a complete stagnant and in fog. So, onto this, what it would lead to then, it would reflect that onto another person whom they could be angry at, or personal vendetta, whatever, and they take that anger and they reflect from that onto another person by harm, to cause harm. Okay, we all know any kind of causing harm is a criminal offense. Any kind of abuse, any kind of abuse. And I will share that with you in a moment, what we are taught and told to act in at work. Now in this, vendetta has to be in a state of psychosis, correct? So if they do not allow to heal and or receive help from God and others, they stay in that state, lost in that fog. So it becomes their choice. With one ingredient is completely missing out of that. And what that first ingredient is called love. So if we do not receive the love, the psychosis, what happens is, because the love will heal the psychosis. So if filled with one ingredient, first love, the psychosis in the person, it will heal their pain. And has become, because their pain has become everyone else's behaviors. So someone else's pain has become someone else's behavior. Or you could follow into a trap of gossip and into, well, there's people that don't even know you and hate you. And the only reason they really hate you is because they're just listening to gossip and they're following direction of a wrong path. Okay? So, again, that would be a sign of, if a person was persistent, female, male, female and male, whatever it may be, it is a direction of fog. So here at work, we have a code of conduct. And we have to commit to this. We have to commit to one another for a common purpose to support our clients. Right? And how do we do that? How do we support our clients and be loyal to them if we don't take care of ourselves? So if we're a people pleaser and we're just going in there just to please whoever, to butter up, kiss butt, do whatever you need to do, to get yourself ahead, you will fall behind and you will drown. Okay? So always think about how important you are too, and that those people that you're caring for cannot receive anything healthy if you're not taking care of yourself. Okay? So remember that. It's not because you're a failure. It's because if you're getting signs and signals off yourself that you need to take some time to heal. It doesn't make you a bad person. It allows you to recognize and validate, hey, I need healing. If I am going to link myself in the common purpose to support our clients or in our family, this can be, you take this into your family or into relationships, and you will not undermine the people's work. And then you recognize and you are accountable for your excellency in the quality of your work. So if we don't take time and don't be rushed and pushed, as someone said, come on, hurry up, get it done. How are you supposed to validate or even stay in the state of non-confusion if you got people screaming behind you all the time, going, hurry, get done, get done. You can't. That is a state of confusion. If there's a state of confusion, there is no communication, and you cannot, for the common purse, support another client, but only undermine another. Now, in ownership in our lives and at work, our team members are to take pride in our work and take ownership in this and the results to the individual efforts. So how do we take this result of the individual in the efforts to understand the responsibilities of our job? In our code of conduct, to the policies that is given in the procedures of a company or in your home, in your family, or with your marriages, etc., etc. We need to know what the word nice means. If we are speaking openly or a question is asked, and do not attack another person, and if you have a problem, without anger, you need to go to that person. And did you know that in the ministry, it is very healthy to go to the person and talk to them about it? But if you do it in anger, nobody's going to listen. And if you act out in anger and complain in anger, it only is a state of confusion. You need to sit back, think about before you start doing it. Now, in this niceness, I always say, the darkness always comes to the light. Okay, so then fellow team members, with everyone, we have to remember about the clients that we take care of. I remember, what about, were you in their shoes? Did you empathize? Do you have empathy? Do you care? Do you love? Do you validate that? Or are you still in a fog? I can learn everything on paper and write an exam and get perfect, but my actions can be the opposite. Okay, so I can go up to my employer and say, look, and they go, wow. But in my actions, if I'm not showing in my actions, in that love, in being kind, caring, loving, and validating humbleness, then there's no point in me even helping, supporting people. Okay. So we have to be dependable for our actions. What we do that is right because of the right thing to do. So I'm reading you a code of conduct from work because I think this is really important. And this is something that was brought up. So we work the hours that are assigned to us. Not assigned from your fellow worker, not assigned from, the people, the residents we care for, or from others or whatever. Because again, we can take this everywhere we go. Or undermine other people. But the important thing is to be dependable. So again, you find out who is in control of that area. Who do you go to and speak, and is that information being carried on? Okay? We are not children anymore. We need to grow up. So in this, we have to make sure that we are responsible. So what we work is our hours that are assigned to us, and if you feel like you just running on an emotion and take on another assigned work that you cannot handle, you should not take it on if you are too tired. Because what happens is, for the common purpose of supporting our clients, will fail. So do not feel guilty if you are tired. And brag about, I did all this. Because you're looking for attention. Dependability with our clients, our managers, our team members, and who's in control, who's running the business. We have to be appropriate in the way, in our manners. Understanding this, we bring our personal stuff into work. People ask me, Rhonda, what happened? Well, before you ask me what happened, you got to be ready to listen. Okay? Rhonda, why is your foot like that? Rhonda, why is your knee like that? Rhonda, why is this happening to your family? Rhonda, questions. Do not take that personally into your supporting our clients. I hear a lot of clients say, oh, they had the most amazing marriages because they didn't jump in on an emotion. They love to tell us their testimonies, and I love listening. And they empathize. They get in our shoes too. I have a client that has Alzheimer's because she see me running down, not like aggressively running, but I had just finished with two others that I came in and I'm like, I gotta catch my breath for a second. Because, and you know what she recognized? Because she recognized I needed to breathe. Come up to me. Stop. You're not breathing properly. And she don't speak English. But she said to me, you don't breathe properly. I understood her. If we have shallow breathing, we are really causing harm to our bodies. And we all do it, and we need to stop that. So, like this. Right? Validate that. Take a breath. It'll slow down your heart rate as well. And it'll make you yawn. Like I just did now. So what it does is it can lower your blood pressure. It does. So she recognized that right away with Alzheimer's, but yet placed herself in my shoes for a moment to ask me to stop. Yeah. So she has been in my shoes. Again, understanding is a very important role that we have to do, and it is a common goal that they speak about. So when I talked about with you now, a few minutes ago, about taking ownership and accountability and where a person's behavior is, as with a lot of behavior analysts, and that is even in our music, okay, how we feel. But understanding this, we set aside personal conflicts in the workplace and realize we each have strengths and weaknesses. So what my strengths might not be your strengths. And what your strengths are might be my weakness I can learn from. But if I don't validate that and allow my pride to get in the way, I won't recognize it. So if someone comes to me, I do a lot of writing on cultures. I've done it ever since I've gone to Fanshawe College as well. And over at Gibbons Park and at Harris Park, people would share to me all across the world about their countries. And then the men and women would tell me their personal testimonies, why they fled from those countries and came to Canada. And why did everyone run to Canada? Okay? So don't allow somebody's personal testimony become your hate. Okay? Or try to validate what was wrong. Now this, we need to recognize the impact of our words on others. If we attack others, and if you're keeping something open, so when you're open and you're speaking open, I'm having a conversation with the fellow workers, the nurse, everyone, as a team, and we're speaking out because we have to communicate and recognize what we're doing and validate that. If we have no communication, there's nothing. If you're feeling uncomfortable in that, validate that and ask yourself why. Ask yourself, why am I uncomfortable about something that's spoken out? It's like in the Bible. When the Bible, because I didn't write any of those words, and they were God breathed. If I read from the Bible, it afflicts you. It's not from me. It's something from the truth that has affected you. Okay, so we want to set aside our personal conflicts. My personal conflicts is I have been harmed in the worst ways. Does not mean that you did it to me, but it allows me to be aware of my surroundings. And I recognize people's behaviors. Now, we need to recognize the impact of our words, what we say onto others. Okay? We have to use courtesy, deliver these messages instead of saying what I can't do. We hear that a lot. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm no way. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. If we have any kind of problems in our marriages or at work or in our homes or out in public, why are we feeling that way? Validate it and work through it. You should never, ever, ever feel embarrassed around others. Nor should you gossip and treat others with disrespect. Nor should you gaslight. Gaslighting at work or in your home and other places is a criminal offense. In teams, as we work as team workers, Vince Lombardi had said individual commitment to a group effort. That's why we make teamwork. And that's why we have company work and society work and civilization work. Look, things are hard. Things are hard in our lives. We could be coming in. I had to go in and others had to go in. We just had a lot of losses in our lives. But other people don't know that. So you have to make sure that when you're going in there, that you can work with others and if validate that that's happened to you, that pain and that, and work through it. I believe there is counseling before you. You can have the counseling. You can go to the boss, who's ever in that charge of that area. You do that at home. Validate it. Go to someone to talk to. If you can't work it out, that's what they're there for. But I'm going to tell you something. Through it all, if you do not have the first ingredient called love, that love is the only thing that removes pride. Love is the only thing that removes anything that reflects negativity. Now, in this, we need the turmeric and we need to treat with respect. If we do not have that, because as well as we say, well, we have rights, but so does everybody else. So in the rights to this, we need to treat with courtesy, with love and respect. And how do we do this? We don't get personal. Now, there's going to be times when people are going to be telling you testimonies and being personal and empathize, but make sure you can have the time to do it. Now, fully recognize if you're in workplace, the residents are understood there with dignity. If they are starting to swear, uncomfortable, not feeling validated, and you have to recognize their gender, their identity, their faith belief, their cultures, their age, their marital status and family status or disability of any challenges in their life. And that also goes again in our homes and out there. We can't fix people. We cannot fix people's hearts. Ever, ever, ever. But we can do is help support and be the walls. Women, we are the walls. Okay, I'm going to share a little something for you from the truth. From the truth, we are the walls. That's why we have Eve. Okay, so we talk about the first Adam and the last Adam, the Lord. Okay, this is a parable and riddle. The woman is the walls that supports the foundation. So the first Adam with the Lord, we are the walls to support it, not tear it down. Okay, so we have God, man, woman. Women are very, very, very important. They're not to be disrespected. So when they have good walls on that strong foundation with the man, the house will not be torn down. If the walls are on a weak foundation, the walls will fall down. There is no support system. And that you can take into your work. If there is not a strong foundation and there is not a good support there, the walls will come tumbling down. And that goes with us people. Now in this, if we do not do this, we will stumble, fall, and tear down. We do not ever make another stumble. Ever, ever, ever. You have not been tempted to stumble anybody. Never. Every resident at our workplace has the right and lifestyle, their choices are respected. Let's say I go in there and I broke my leg and that's the only place they could place me, over there with them. But because I'm older now, I can be considered that, right? and I'm in retirement or somewhere, and they got to come care for me, and they're not respecting my worth or my leg, or feel rushed if they feel rushed, or I have to go pee and I can't go pee, how does that resident feel? So you have to validate how they're feeling. To write to this in freedom from abuse and neglect. If you are taking your anger in front of them, or in front of your children, or in front of others, what are you doing? You're abusing them. You have to be free of abuse. Every resident has the right to this freedom. And so all of us do. All of us have a right to an optimum quality of life. What happened to me does not mean that you take that in and tear another person's house down. Okay? So they have a right to this optimal quality of life, and every person has that right. And they have a right to share a room with another resident according to their mutual wishes. They have that right for their life. And if they do not feel comfortable and they want to leave, why? Are we going to always blame it on a behavior? Maybe it's our behaviors. Again, if we do not recognize this word, so I have this policy here in front of me. Everybody has the right to meet privately with their spouse to another person's, and it's none of our business what they do behind closed doors unless there is abuse. Okay? And everyone, and that's same within our homes. If there is voyeurism, that is a breach of privacy. That is a sexual abuse. That is a criminal offense. That means if you interfere with someone's phone calls, their emails, their home, that is abuse. We have no right to pursue any kind of ignorance and to be aware of. Because I am a Christian woman, and women from India said to me, I do not want to go back to India because the men treated me badly, then that woman has the right to say that because she was treated badly and she could tell me about her life in India. That does not mean that we have to take our personals and tear that down, because that woman had the right, those women had the right for me to write about that. That resident, any resident, has the right to pursue a social and cultural life in their religion, spiritual, and other interests. Develop their potential to be given reasonable assistance by the licensee to pursue their interests and develop their potential. If we do not allow them to grow, and we are stunting ourselves, if we're stunting ourselves, then we're stunting them. Right? And they have the right to keep and display their personal possessions, and they have rights of other residents, requirements of the rights of residents is what I'm saying. So you have to acknowledge their personal space and not get into their personal space, what's in the room. Everyone has the right to exercise their rights as a human being, as a citizen in this world. If we do not validate what's going on and find out, we cannot leave things to our own understanding. And if we leave things to that, we leave things to gossip, and we start tearing down. There's no communication. We have the right to proper accommodations. Every one of us. They go in there, they have a right to that. And who is responsible for this and providing their direct care? If you don't know how to do something, say you don't know how to do something. And do not put the other person down because they do not know how to do something. Help them. Okay? Do not go, ugh. If they don't know how, well, before they do this, you hear that? You do that in your own home, right? Maybe a person's just nervous and just needs some space for lightening up. Maybe the person is scared. Maybe the person, who knows? Do you know what's in their heart? No. And be very careful about that heart, because the hearts are the most deceitful. They have a right to be and given privacy, treatment in their personal needs. Now look, I know you're probably saying, well, we can't do it all. We can't. And that's where we need each other as teamwork to help each other out. Because honestly, if we can't do that, we're in trouble. Again, if somebody tells me to rush and hurry, and I'm trying to do 5 people's work, forget it. I need to step back, go, hey, I'll validate this. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to speak truth. But I do not need the attention. I need to know I'm one human being, and I only can accomplish so much at a time. Other people's ignorance led to stupidity and insanity. That's not my problem. That's somebody else's. So we need to participate fully in the development and implementation of this plan of care for all of us. And if we do not, again, know our worth before we step into a place, or we need rest and we just need some love, allow yourself to have room for that. Allow yourself. Then you can go in and feel so much better. If a person can't run, they can't run. Let them walk. Because isn't it better to walk by faith than sleep by faith or run by faith? They have the right to give full consent to any treatment or refuse it. Participate fully in making decisions. Personal health. They have a right to ongoing and safe support. If we run into some areas, we need to communicate that and get help. Everybody has the right to have any friend they want, family member, and the importance of their respect and privacy. Now, I like these code of conducts because it teaches me and it helps me in my home. And if I can't do that with myself, how in the heck am I going to do it at work? They have the right to receive care and assistance towards independent. You know, the activities of daily living. Oh, they can't do that themselves. You wouldn't believe how much one can do if you give them the opportunity instead of rushing. Well, we only have this much time. We got to run. Breathe. Everybody has the right to choices and never be restrained unless this restraint is for their safety. They have a right to be provided with care and services based on their palliative care. Okay? And that goes with us too. And that's what I'm getting across when I had said we take ownership and accountability for our actions. And gaslighting and putting blame on others because you feel lost, scared, or something that is said, the truth has hurt you. That's not my problem or somebody else's, but you need to validate that and go, hey, why is it doing this to me? What can it be? I need to work this out, or maybe I need to talk to someone. So every resident at work has the right to be treated with this courtesy and respect, from freedom from abuse of all abuses. Fireworks, but boom, all abuses. And that includes us. So again, if we do not validate that, none of us are perfect. But if we're making mistakes, then we need to learn from that and not do it anymore. So there's always some kind of, like someone has made a mistake. I remember a long time ago I made a med error. It was a very simple med error. There was no harm. So what did I have to do? I had to go back and go through the policy and go through my checks. Did I check? Did I check? Did I check? And the more you do it, the more you will start doing it. Okay, it becomes a habit. And it does. It does become a habit. So we need to know also about our nutritional care needs. If we steal somebody's nutritional care needs, we all need nutrition, and that first one is love. But in their food or whatever, you steal that? Nutritional and everything should be documented. I'm a big documenter. Document. So I'll run to the nurse. Document. I just recognize this. Document. If that is not passed on, so, I was just given a little tip. Write it down, Rhonda. Because sometimes people get busy. Write it down. Be silent and write it down. Write it down. Document. Carry a pen and paper on you. Document. Because with our residents, honestly, like I said, if a resident feels like they're not getting the care and you're running around with your head cut off and go, well, it's not my fault. You're right. It's not your fault. You're right. Just let them know that you're there. Nothing more. Allow them to feel what they feel. Okay? And if you find any kind of abuse, you need to document and report. It's very important. Being, there, and if we keep saying we cannot help someone, why do we keep saying that? Why don't we want to do it? What's going on? Get to the source, and you will take care of the problems. Again, my name is Rhonda Fair, and again, if you're having heaviness in your feet, legs and feet, and your feet are hurting, did you know that your feet has a lot to do with your heart? Yes. Take care of them. Just soak them in that ginger, warm water. I use castor oil and to cleanse and get rid of the old skin. Use some castor oil and some baking soda. Just little stuff like that goes a long way. Like I said, it sounds easy, and it's not. It's not. It's hard a lot of times. Because again, we don't know what's going on with our fellow workers and what's going on in their heart. But if we're acting out of anger, we ask ourselves, why? Why? Ask ourselves that, allow ourselves to heal. If we do not allow ourselves to heal, we're going to stay in a fog. So again, taking responsibility, taking ownership and accountability. Just be silent. You may be hearing a lot of lies. But again, the lies always come into the truth. And there's no more fog. It is just only light. And spread that love. Because we need it. Every one of us needs the love. So again, in Galatians chapter 6, verse 12, talks about this accountability of knowing what we've done wrong of our sins. And to repent. Be honest. Sometimes accountability can mean some extra punishment, but you know what? That's called love. Because if we do not get discipline, we'll never learn. Anyways, I hope that with that question about when you take anger and your anger turns into bending the truth and you act out and you harm others. If you listen to others, no leader. Okay, so here's Chase Hughes. He's one of my favorite behavior analysts. I'm sure a lot of people hear that, but God is my favorite. But Chase Hughes, you said that, and I'm in total agreement with all this. The only time I would want myself of a person that didn't care about me, but I cared about the results of a doctor taking care of me, of that psychopath. I definitely would want that psychopath to be my doctor too. Because if they're more concerned about getting the perfection of you being healed and better. Take it. Just don't marry it. Give you a little tip there. So anyways, you take care of yourself today. And God bless.